Strange phenomenon, mysterious disappearances, sightings of unusual creatures, aliens, UFOs, Bigfoot. These are just some of the intriguing and bizarre cases you will find in the Crypto Files. Harlan County. Harlan County, Kentucky has a population of 29,000 plus people, with a little over 1,700 living in the city of Harlan. Harlan is a small, quiet coal mining town nestled in the southeast corner of the state. It's been the subject of several country songs, and the hometown of some notable people, like NBA player Wallace Jones, two-time Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist and author Don Whitehead, and pop singer Nick Lachey. It's also been featured in FX Network's famous drama series Justified. You might say this tiny town's a little bit famous. But Harlan has a dark side. A sordid history of conflict, corruption, murder, and mayhem that very few know about. A series of bloody skirmishes took place here, centered on coal mining, unions, and greed, as mine workers fought alongside unions for better wages and humane working conditions against the coal firms, who were backed by local law enforcement. This was a period in the town's history that many know as the Harlan County War. But to others who may have been closer to the conflicts, it was known as Bloody Harlan, and it lasted nearly a decade. From the years 1931 to 1939, Harlan County was a war zone. And by the time that war was over, the area had been occupied by the Kentucky National Guard and federal troops a half a dozen times. And an undetermined number of mine bosses, mine workers, and deputies were dead. In the end, despite being in the most anti-labor county in the country, the union and mine workers won, but not without an extreme amount of bloodshed.
John saw the golden city, New Jerusalem come down, 12 jasper walls and gates of pearl, splendor all around.
It was when the Great Depression was in full force, when coal firms began working on a plan to create a national dependency on their product. And they started selling below cost, and in order to avoid operating at a loss, they cut the already impoverished mine workers' wages by 10%. The United Mine Workers of America attempted to organize the workers, and all known employees affiliated with the union were quickly fired and evicted from their homes, that were unfortunately owned by the mining firm. And scores of other mine workers, in a show of sympathy, went on strike and moved their families to the neighboring towns not controlled by the mine bosses. By then, only about 900 of the 5,800 mine workers were actually working. They did so under the protection of armed deputized private citizens, who were also legally granted the privilege of exercising their deputy privileges outside the confines of the mines, And they certainly did under the management of Sheriff J.H. Blair, who made his allegiance to the mining companies crystal clear to the citizens of Harlan. All hopes of fairness or compromise among the factions were dashed under his control, and bloodshed would be the result.
Come all you good workers, good news to you all tell of how the good old union has come in here to dwell. Which side are you on? Oh, which side are you on?
Resident and songwriter Florence Reese described the tone of the conflicts under Sheriff Blair.
Sheriff J.H. Blair and his men came to our house in search of Sam. That's my husband. He was one of the union leaders. I was home alone with our 7 children. They ransacked the whole house and then kept watch outside, waiting to shoot Sam down when he came back. But he didn't come home that night. Afterward, I tore a sheet from a calendar on the wall and wrote the words to "Which Side Are You On?" to an old Baptist hymn, "Lay the Lily Low." My songs always goes to the underdog, to the worker. I'm one of them, and I feel like I've got to be with them. There's no such thing as neutral. You have to be on one side or the other. Some people say, I don't take sides, I'm neutral. But there's no such thing. In your mind, you're on one side or the other. In Harlan County, there wasn't no neutral. If you wasn't a gun thug, you was a union man. You had to be.
We're starting our good battle. We know we're sure to win because we got those gun thugs looking very thin. Which side are you on? Oh, which side are you on? They say in Harlan County there are no neutral ground. You'll either be a union man or a thug for G.H. Blair. Which side are you on, boy? Which side are you on?
In the midst of the violence, strikers exchanged gunfire with guards and local law enforcement as strikebreakers were brought in on a regular basis. They were attacked and beaten by the strikers, but the worst conflict of this kind took place on May the 5th, 1931. Miners ambushed cars filled with company men, and after a rash of gunfire, 1 striker and 3 company men lay dead. This became known as the Battle of Everts. This level of violence prompted the Kentucky National Guard to be called in, and the strikers, expecting support and protection, got a rude awakening as they watched the troops instead break through the picket lines. On May the 24th that year, members at a UMW rally were tear-gassed, and Sheriff Blair took back their rights to assemble. By June the 17th, the last miner had returned to work. The mine firms refused to compromise, and the UMW watched their members quickly disappear. After that, a new union, the National Miners Union, an openly communist union, tried to pick up the pieces for Harlan County. But by then, so many were disillusioned. They did make some progress in certain areas as they implemented a better humanitarian relief operation. But the local labor organizers were mostly members of clergy, and the NMU's open animosity towards religion caused more conflict. Harry Sims, the Communist League organizer, was shot by a sheriff's deputy, only adding to the tensions. In 1933, President Franklin D. Roosevelt gave the Union a leg up when he signed the National Industrial Recovery Act into law.
but will attempt to give to the industrial workers of the country a more fair wage return, to prevent cutthroat competition, to prevent unduly long hours for labor, but at the same time to encourage each industry to prevent overproduction.
It gave the unions collective bargaining rights, and the mine workers finally felt that they were gaining some ground. But the turmoil wouldn't end there. Sheriff Blair was voted out of office in 1933. He then died in 1934. He was replaced by a sheriff who proved to be more corrupt than ever. T.R. Middleton had run on a pro-union platform that wasn't exactly above board. The National Guard was once again called in on December the 8th, 1934. The request had been made by the UMW organizers that had been threatened by the deputies, and mine bosses were escorted by the troops to the county line. National support for the National Industrial Recovery Act plummeted, and it was eventually deemed unconstitutional. It was never replaced. But then, in 1935, the Wagner Act was signed into law. This eliminated discrimination for union activity and blocked tactics used by the mine bosses. While the playing field was leveling, Harlan hadn't warmed up at all to interference from the federal government. They had been through too much. On July the 7th, federal troops were again called in as deputies broke into a crowd of miners and attacked and beat them as they were celebrating the Wagner Act. Federal troops were called in 3 times that year, and on September the 29th, for the very first time, they were called in on behalf of the miners themselves. The workers had finally gained sympathy from the state governor, who referred to the attacks and harassment of the miners to be, quote, the worst reign of terror in the history of the country, unquote. As the tensions fizzled out over the course of the next few years, people moved on with their lives. But the dark energy of those turbulent times can still be felt in places around Harlan. One such place is the old Harlan County Jail. The jail was constructed in 1928, and it eventually closed down in 1982. Its checkered reputation was at the center of all this turmoil. Some say it has a grisly tale of its own to tell, and that it is a hotspot of paranormal activity. The Crypto Files investigates these claims and the history of the old Harlan County Jail. First, the team looked back at some previous paranormal investigations and dug through old case files in an effort to establish a history of paranormal activity in the jail. They discovered several EVPs.
We're noticing that the EMF meter is going off. What's your name? We're noticing that the EMF meter is going off. What's your name?
Were you treated badly here? Were you treated badly here?
Was that you that touched me? Was that you that touched me?
The team also discovered some old security camera footage of paranormal activity. An orb appears to come out of the wall and change directions. It does not appear to be a common dust orb that so many mistake for spirit orbs. Another piece of potential evidence surfaced from a previous investigation. The team was using a fog machine in hopes of capturing a silhouette of a figure. It appears to have worked.
We're using fog tonight, so you'll have a silhouette. Can you walk by us and let us see you?
The Harlan County Jail housed every type of criminal you can imagine, from the common thief to murderers. If you committed a crime in Harlan, you had to pass through the Harlan County jail system. It appears that all this negative energy has made the jail a hub for unexplained activity. There has long been talk about deaths occurring at the jail. Wanting to verify some of these tales, the team started looking for any past employees who might still be living and willing to talk about their experience working at the jail. The team discovered Mr. Granville Sargent, a former turnkey at the jail. Hoping to confirm some of the reports of deaths at the jail, the team conducted an interview with Mr. Sargent.
So you started working there in the 70s,
Yeah, late was 70s.
and what were some of your daily duties?
I'd search the jail every day, go in and search each cell, and feed them, search them, search everybody comes in before we lock them up, and book them.
What was the worst thing that happened to you while you was working at the jail?
I got in a few fights.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that? What caused it? How it come about?
Well, there was a colored boy, George Mahone from Cumberland. They brought him in and put him in there, and then he had a visitor to come. His girlfriend, she bought him some food. And yes, so you had to search for food, you know, check the food, since there wasn't no kind of weapons or solid waste, nothing. And I got his food out of the bag, and he started cussing me, coming at me. And it took about 6 state police to get him up there. He was mean. And I had a .45 automatic. And there's a bunch of ours that day. That was when Jimmy Turner was in there for killing his wife. And Lonzo and Johnny, I believe Johnny Turner was there that day, and a couple more of his brothers. And that old boy kept coming at me, and I just threw a shell in the chamber, which I would have had to kill him because he was mean. And Hobart Jones, we let him stay there, he was have a home. And Hobart said, everyone called me Sarge. Sarge, let me put him in there. I said, no, I'll do it. I said, it's my job, I'll do it. And I backed him up. Well, Lonzo and them fell on the floor when I threw the shell in the chamber of him. Lonzo and Johnny and Jimmy. And I opened the door and I put him in there and locked the felony wall down. That's what you call rolling them up. And I kept them rolled up for a while, and old Frankie Lane was in there for raping his mommy. And he hollered at me, Sarge, need to talk to you. And I went there and he said, we talked to George, told him how you was, and he said he'd straighten up and do right. I said, I'll unroll you, I'll let you out. And I let him out, and from that day on, that old boy was good to me.
For people that may not understand, why would you check their food?
That was a rule that we had to.
What was you checking it for?
For saw pieces of saw blades, stuff like that.
Probably drugs?
Yeah. There wasn't many drugs back then, though.
Yeah, mostly alcohol, probably.
They had little old things you call red dip, a little bit of red capsules. And they tried to sneak them in food.
So this fella took issue with you checking his food.
Yeah.
Didn't like that idea. Okay, while you was at the jail, was there ever any inmate violence? Maybe where one inmate had something against another and they wanted to maybe try to fight or hurt one another? Did that happen often?
Well, Manning Sizemore and Jimmy Duff had a pretty bad fight.
Do you know of any inmates that actually hurt one another fatally, or that killed one another, or anything while you was there?
No, I wasn't there when that Bobby Turner got killed.
But there have been people that died in the jail from another inmate.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the women that were incarcerated. What was some of their crimes?
Well, we had one in there for murder. Her name was Norma Pace. She had shot and killed her old man. And then we just have them in there sometimes for misdemeanors, just things like that. And judge would give them time in jail. We'd have to keep them.
Was the women usually, was the women more cooperative than the men, or was they kind of mean too?
No, some women were and some weren't.
Did the women try to fight you just as much as the men?
Some of them would. Some of them sure buck up on you want to fight.
Well, you was telling us a story about one lady that you had to try to separate from everybody else. Tell us about her a little bit.
Yeah, the whole thing was awful hot. They brought her in there. And she was drunk, but and she's mean too, real mean. And I patted her down. You can't search a woman, you just have to pat them down best you can. And I got her cigarettes and lighter from her, and I said, you got any more match or anything on you open? She said, no. And I finally got her back out to the blue room, locked her up. It was about 15, 20 minutes. Buddy smoke coming bowling down that hall, and she'd set her bed on fire.
How many suicides allegedly happened up there from what you were told?
Well, there have been several of them. I don't know exactly how many, but there's several suicides.
Do you think that they were all suicides?
Well,
From what you've been told?
no, I don't.
What do you think? What were you told that happened?
I was told that they was put in there to be killed.
That the inmate was actually arrested or incarcerated for the purpose of having him done away with.
Yeah, they put him in there and then arrested somebody else, put them in there, and he wanted to arrest him, killed him. Well, I do know that there's a woman burned up there in jail.
She actually burnt?
Yeah.
Any idea what caused the fire?
No, sure don't.
Do you know, tell us a little bit more about that, what all you know about that?
Well, she was a jailer's girl, Murphy, Groundhog Gross's girl, and they put her in jail. Some way, somehow, it got on fire and she burned up.
Was she in a cell by herself, or?
Yeah.
So, potentially, maybe she set the fire herself, maybe, possibly.
Possibly.
But in any case, she did perish in the jail.
Yeah.
Do you know of any other stories maybe where people have died in the jail?
I know Bobby Turner got killed in Burn jail.
Was that at an inmate's hand, or?
Yeah, Ernest Jones, everybody called him Cheetah, killed him.
They're in the jail?
Yeah.
How did he kill him, do you know?
But some of them say he stuck a broom handle through him.
Maybe one had been broke off or something like that?
During the sit-down interview, Mr. Sargent confirmed several reports of deaths occurring at the jail. He also told us about numerous accounts of inmate abuse that took place within the jail. Next, we took Mr. Sargent inside the old jail and walked him through the areas where he used to work many years ago. It seemed to pull at the emotions of Mr. Sargent as he walked around his former workplace. During the walkthrough, Mr. Sargent provided us with very useful information. He was also able to confirm some of the locations and housing arrangements for the inmates.
And then, so right in here, Granville, who was housed here
The women.
in this part?
It has the women here.
This is where the women was. Okay, that's kind of what we were thinking, because whenever they built the elevator, obviously they've taken this wall out, or these bars out, but if you'll look right there, you can see the remnants of some of the bars where they've had to cut them for the construction.
We went about 2 years. Wherever
Is this where the girl burned up?
Yeah,
And the girl burned up here in the blue room?
yeah.
Cause it looks, by looking at this wall, it stopped right here.
There's some original wall right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And this is where she was at
yeah,
that she burned up in.
yeah. Yes, some original wall right there. See all that writing and them old drawings on it?
Yep. Now I know the jail's full of a lot of that stuff too. But you think this is where the lady burned up?
Yeah. Somewhere through there.
Somewhere in this area?
Yeah.
Right here is the booking area. Now, right here down this corridor down the steps, this is where they originally brought the inmates in. They brought them in from the outside and up about 3 flights of
Yeah,
steps.
that's the only way we went in there and out. And this is where you booked them.
Right. Now, did you ever hear a story about where an inmate tried to escape and there was a fight right here, and the inmate got the gun and killed a guard or something?
Yeah, I heard that, but you know, I was too young to get back in.
Right, but you have heard the story?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come in, book them, and how do you book them, where would you take them?
Well, right in here.
All right, lead us right, just like
Just
you're.
like you was gonna put somebody in the felony walk.
Now, right here, family law. If the charge of felony, you put them in here.
Does this bring back a lot of memories for you?
Yeah, but it sure does.
How long were your days here? I mean, how many hours a day would you work?
But sometimes I work all 3 shifts.
So you'd be here around the clock?
Yeah.
Now, we was talking about jailers just a second ago, Granville. Who was the best jailer that you worked for?
Well, Trap Felton was the best jailer Harlan County ever had.
Well, what did you like about Trap Helton?
He was good to the prisoners. He was sure.
Treated them humanely.
Yeah, he treated them not right.
Now, did you hear rumors about sometimes that either jailer or some of the guards would get mad at a inmate and they'd go in on them and beat them,
Yeah,
get drinking a little bit?
yeah.
You know, we're doing some other stuff with Manzo Shepherd's story and things like this. You're looking at where Manzo Shepherd would have been kept right before he walked out the door, out that hallway that you shot, down into the courtroom, to be killed inside the courtroom by the nephew of the man that he murdered. So, also as some side note, the man that murdered Manzo Shepherd would have been kept here. And while his 2 accomplices, Howard Hensley and Sherman Klaus, would be kept inside this jail. So at one point in time, you had Sherman Klaus, you had Howard Hensley, and you had the man that murdered that killed Manzo Shepherd in the courtroom, that ultimately got off on temporary insanity defense, all housed in the same area. Now, is that not irony? Now, we noticed a lot of graffiti on the walls Is this about the same color that they were when you was here?
Yep, see that sign up there to the hell hole?
Yeah.
That's what it was, and some of the jailers turned in. This is what they tied together these sheets and went down the outside with us when he got a hole cut out where he could go.
Now who was that again?
The prisoners,
Yeah.
they was Saylor escaped that way.
Now Granville, what was this section of the jail?
Those tires there was called the bullpen.
What did they just kept like 4 or 5 guys or 6 or 8 guys in a big cell?
There were very few of them up here.
And these were guys that weren't much danger or anything like that?
Yeah.
They weren't hardcore.
Just misdemeanors.
I want to thank you very, very much for coming back. And did this bring back a lot of memories for
Yeah, it
you?
sure does, and I appreciate y'all inviting me back.
We appreciate you sharing your history with us and what that you remembered about working in this place, because it's been around a long time.
Yeah,
All right, and thank you very much again.
well, anytime.
After finishing up our walkthrough with Mr. Sargent and confirming the dark history of the jail, it was time to investigate. As the team starts their investigation, it is important to note that they were the only people in the building. Everything that happens or is captured is real, and nothing has been faked or added in.
We're now in the old Harlan County Jail. This jail was built in 1928. It's seen wars, it's seen mind violence, it's seen it all. Right here where we're standing, you have had thousands and thousands of inmates come through since 1928 until this facility was shut down in the early 80s. You've had murders, you've had suicides, you've had prisoners that have burned to death. You have all sorts of energy here that probably isn't the most pleasant kind. Guys, we're here in the old Harlan County Jail. We've just experienced some unusual energy, like EMF energy, maybe about 5 minutes ago. It was causing Thomas's camera to malfunction. Thomas, has that ever happened to you?
I've never seen it do that before. It was like a blue border is around it, and I don't even know how to get it to that. I've never seen it before, so it was something I've never experienced with that camera.
And then immediately after that, there was a lot of static electricity, and it's still right here very heavy, really heavy, and it felt like that someone brushed against my arm. So that doesn't happen a whole lot, but it just happened about 5 minutes ago. Now we're running an experiment this evening. Thomas brought a game cam in, and tell us what this game cam is going to do, Thomas.
Okay, this is basically a trap camera. It uses an IR. If anything breaks that IR, it will take like a 10 to 12 second video, and it also will record the sound. So if there's any sound anomalies going on while it's recorded, we'll have, so it's kind of a double threat for us.
Wow.
So we get video and we get
audio.
And it has a very wide range, and we are in a place where there's been noted shadow activity.
Lots of shadow activity.
So we feel very confident that, you know, if anything moves, we got a chance to catch it.
Right. Speaking of shadow activity, I've been here before, maybe 6 months ago, about 6 months ago, and there was the shadows. I come across the top of the ceiling. It was just very unusual. I mean, obviously it's dark and all you got is your IR lights going. But you could see that, like, the shadows would break away and it was like a dark, you know, not like a regular shadow, but it was like pitch black. And it would just go across the ceiling, and immediately after that, it sounded like somebody was walking above us. Now, what's unusual about that is the only thing above us is the roof.
So then there's nobody working.
There was nobody at 10 o'clock at night on the roof.
So we're ready to move on to the next section of our hunt, and we're going to turn on our camera, and then we're going to go on up to our other areas.
right. Guys, what I'm setting up for right here is to shoot a long hallway. We've had a lot of shadow play and a lot of footsteps in this hallway also. So Thomas, if you want to shoot down that way and show them what we're going to be doing, and then show them the shot on the camera, if they can see it. There they go. And then so hopefully what we're going to catch is a silhouette against that lighter wall down there.
All right,
So,
you ready?
anyways, we're setting this experiment up. We have the we're setting this experiment up. We have the track cam in the other room where that our trail cam, where that hopefully will catch some stuff. Now the trail cam again not only has video, but it has audio as well. So we're getting set up pretty good here tonight, guys. We're gonna go in here, we're gonna set up maybe a spirit box session real quick and see what we can catch. Guys, what we're doing here, we're in the upstairs part of the jail, of the old jail. This is what they used to call the bullpen area. And we're setting up a GoPro type camera with a Sony digital recorder. There's been a lot of EVPs caught up here in the past, a lot of noises, bangs, unexplained footsteps. So hopefully we'll catch some of that this evening. And as the camera shoots toward the steps, we also have heard people walking up and down the steps, unexplained footsteps.
Now we are doing a walk down by the jail cells.
We're using the Tascam DR05 and the millimeter. So hopefully we'll get some EVPs and some millimeter hits. So guys, is there anyone here with us? I know you're here, but is there anyone here that wants to speak with us? Now, if you'll come up and touch this device here, the alarm will come on, and I will see a readout that will let me know that you're here, plus the audible alarm.
Something touched me. Something touched me on the back of the neck right
That's
there.
what it was doing to me while ago.
Touched me right there. Twice. So it did touch me.
Right? You try to get a mail. Can you touch this? Can you touch this millimeter, this antenna, please? They're playing games.
It was very light and it felt like a fingertip.
Yeah, that's what happened out there. They're playing games. There's just some static electricity here.
What?
I'm not getting anything
On that?
no, but I'm not getting any temperature change now. Show them this is measured in milligauss.
I'll have to zoom in just a little bit.
And also you'll be able to, you can see the temperature. So if I see any changes in that, I know that.
Is the temperature 81 point? It just went up to 82.
Small temperature fluctuations are not considered to be paranormal. In this case, the temperature only changed a few degrees. But it should be noted that there is no air conditioning in this part of the building, and all the windows are blocked up. The team continues with the investigation.
So who touched Thomas? Can you tap on the walls?
As the team exits the jail cells, they capture some possible evidence.
What's that right there, Tony?
Mustard or something.
Yeah, that's what it looks like, mustard. Who had mustard? That's a French's, so. Uh-oh, did you touch that against your paint? Did
Somebody touch that? Did somebody touch that? Did somebody touch that?
Upon exiting the jail cells, they stop briefly for a drink of water before heading upstairs. This is when they catch another piece of evidence.
Not bad at all. So we'll go upstairs and then EVP up there.
If you want to, yeah.
And then we'll call it. Let me get a drink of water before we go.
Okay, I'll cut this off.
While the camera is off, the team gets a hit on the mail meter.
We just had another hit on the mail meter.
Of course, when we was getting a drink of
We were
water.
getting a drink of water. But we did get it on the audio.
You did get it, yeah, you did get it on there, so.
Different study up there. Okay, who's doing that?
Well,
Did you see that?
Yeah, you're not touching it. I didn't have the camera on until I put my water up.
Who's doing that?
After this event, the team continues upstairs to the area known as the bullpen.
This was for the more nonviolent misdemeanor type individuals. They kept them more of a big community cell. So could someone please come up and touch the antenna? There'll be an alarm come on and it will let us know that you're here. If you'll do that, we'll go and leave you alone.
After not having any success in the bullpen area, the team returns downstairs to set up a ghost box session.
Does anyone here want to speak with us? If you'll come up and speak into the flashing blue light, we will be able to hear you. I felt a definite breeze go across the back.
Sounded like there was a reply on the ghost box, but it was pretty quick.
Right. A cool breeze. I mean, it's shooting nothing.
No, this place is really,
This is hot.
it's kind of stifling. If anything, there's no air
and
moving.
There's no air vents, there's no heat up here, there's no cooling up here. It's just a lot of metal and concrete and hot. Okay, who's doing that? Okay, who's doing that? Well, if you can do that, then you can touch this antenna. I dare you to touch the antenna.
After not receiving any more hits on the ghost box, the team decides to call it a night, but offered some final thoughts on the evening's investigation.
Guys, we're going to shut down the investigation for this evening. We caught some things. This has not been as an active investigation as the other couple of previous ones, but that's how it is. You know, it's not on demand, but we won't know exactly what we did or did not catch until that we review the audio and the video.
The team decides to continue their investigation of the old jail another night.
Thomas Tonio, Harlan County Jail. We're running a white noise experiment. And we're going to start now.
I'll let you ask the questions. I just want to start the white noise, and because I know you have a more familiarity with the spirits that are here.
Okay. Who made the noise while Thomas and I were in the cell? What's your name? If you come up to this device and speak into it, use the energy from it, we'll be able to hear you on this device. It's not going to harm you, so I'll touch this one, and I'll touch this one. Nothing will harm you. We just want to have a conversation.
During the white noise experiment, several low-grade EVPs were recorded. The voices were just too low to make out, making them unusable. Next, the team set up a static cam and then walked the catwalk area where the guards would walk and check on the inmates.
We're going to walk down the side where the guards walked. So we're going to go on this side.
Okay, sneaking right by. And it's a real tight quarters. It's hard for a big man like me to get down through it, kinda.
See, this goes all the way around. They make us a good loop. So now, here's what we can do. This will open up. This goes to the other end. Do it. We'll just do a CVP session here.
Sure.
Is there anyone here that wants to speak with us? Can you make a noise and let us know you're here? I just want to tell your story. Thomas just wants to tell your story. That's us walking. We're not here to judge. That's not our job. That's just moving around and crunching. What was that? That was where?
Sounded like something moved right in there in front
That
of
was
me.
me.
No, it wasn't that. It was something slid. It wasn't a crunch. It almost sounded like that whatever that is right there slid or moved.
That's a whiteboard.
Yeah. It almost sounded like it just slid. Like you was turning it.
Did anybody touch this? It's pretty stiff.
What was that?
The team could not determine what had made the unknown sound. As the team exits the catwalk area, they capture a disembodied voice.
What was that?
Did you hear it?
I heard something.
It said Thomas.
I didn't hear it. I heard something. I couldn't tell what it said. What was that?
The team begins the ghost box session. For this session, the team has attached some external speakers to the ghost box.
Now what this does, when we're talking about sweep rate, we're talking about if every pop you hear is a different radio station. So you're doing about 3 to 4 a second. So it's impossible. It's impossible. We'll say that, and some people misuse these boxes because they think that they're using the portions of a song and splicing them together. That's matrixing, in my opinion. I don't agree with that. Some people may have caught some really great evidence that way, but I just don't agree with it. I'm more of a white noise and kind of guy, because inside that white noise there's a certain frequency that the entities like, and all this is about sound and vibration and frequency. So in this sweep, you know, you've got 3 to 4, you're covering 3 to 4 radio stations in a second. So it's impossible for, if I say, ask, what's your name? And he says, Joe. Okay, that takes about a half a second. So it's already past one radio station into another radio station. So you would have to have, you know, phonetically, the 2 radio stations saying something sounded very similar to Joe at the same time.
Virtually impossible.
Right. So statistically, the statistical probability of that is slim to none. So I just wanted to make that clear as far as use of how that we try to use the ghost box, PSB 11, whatever you want to call it, you know, spirit communication device. So we're going to use, and for some reason they, you know, sometimes they like AM, sometimes like and it seems about a 50-50 split, you know, as far as what they like. And so that keeps telling me that it's the white noise. Is there anyone here with us? Now you've made noises, you've walked around, you've tapped on various objects. We need you to come up here and show us without a shadow of a doubt that you're with us, that you're in this room with Thomas and I. And if you come up and speak, if you come up and speak into this, we'll be able to hear you instantly. It's not going to hurt you, I promise. See? Did you die here? What's your name? Who killed you?
Next, the investigation moves to what is known as the Blue Room. This is the area where the female inmates were kept. It is also the area where one female inmate lost her life in a fire.
We discovered this about a month ago. We had our suspicions because of the amount of energy that's in here. We have had several female EVPs in here. So obviously we came to the conclusion that this was either a booking area or that this is where the female inmates were kept. So after a conversation with a former trooper that brought lots of people up here to jail in the 70s and 80s, early 80s, 60s, late 60s and 70s, they confirmed that this was a holding communal cell for the females. Tell us your name. Are you trapped? If you can, come up and speak into this box with flashing lights. Think of it as a telephone between your world and ours. How many are here with us? Let's change. Just switch horses. Okay. I'm gonna go to channel 1. AM. Reverse. Does that make it easier for you? Okay, let's be moving around. Phil, ask him some questions, Thomas, while I'm changing the ladder.
How long were you in here? What did you do to get in here? Where are you from? Were you married?
You got a response.
There was something there, wasn't there? Were you married?
You got a response.
There was something there, wasn't there? Do you miss your husband? Yes. Do you miss your husband? Do you miss your husband? Yes. Do you miss your husband? That was a clear response.
Very, very clear. That's class A.
That was a yes. About her husband, missing her husband.
What's your husband's name? Okay, Thomas, I've just got something right here, man. Just blew by me like a cold, yeah.
A breeze?
Yeah, cold breeze. There ain't nothing up here.
Oh no, it's stuffy in here, if anything.
Yeah, there's no way there's any drafts.
There's no heat in there.
No, there's no heat in there. Come here and feel this. Right in here. Who is that? Who is that?
Oh, yeah, I feel it.
Oh, right here. I'm getting chills.
I feel it.
Who is this? Tell us your name. Hopefully we catch some more.
They seem responsive to about her family.
Look here. I got goosebumps.
That's good. Tell us about your husband.
The female voice saying kicked could be in response to alleged abuse of female inmates. The team did ask about the abuse, but due to the sensitive nature of the subject, it was not aired. During the investigation, the team recorded numerous unknown bangs and sounds. They also captured several good EVPs. The activity in the Blue Room was very high. The team captured several disembodied voices. Some voices did not come through the ghost box, but were captured out of the air on multiple devices. Perhaps the most disturbing of these EVP captures were the sounds of screaming. The team found these particularly disturbing and saddening. Here are those captures.
Is your husband with you? How long were you married? How long were you married? How long were you married?
I would rather have 3 or 4 legitimate, good EVPs than a whole bunch of malarkey.
Yeah.
I mean, because really and truly, if you think about it, you know, if you catch one good EVP in an hour,
You've done something.
You've done something.
Well,
man.
just like we asked her if you missed her husband, it was, to me it was clear,
It
yes.
was very clear.
Yes.
So we're going to go ahead and shut it down before the battery shuts us down. Austin Tony, out.
The old jail in Harlan County have proven to be the home of paranormal activity. The checkered past of the jail and the history of violence in bloody Harlan are thought to fuel this activity, but there are other contributing factors as well. Factors such as the magnetic field. The magnetic field in Harlan is higher than most of the surrounding areas. Harlan also has a lot of limestone and sandstone rocks. Sandstone contains quartz. Quartz can give off an electrical charge. Quartz is the basic transmitter for radio, television, and radar. Combine this with an underground stream and you basically have a battery underground giving off energy. But perhaps the biggest factor is the fact that parts of the city of Harlan are built on ancient Indian burial mounds. Add all these elements up and you have a hot spot for unusual activity, including activity of the paranormal kind. This has been a Crypto Files presentation.
I drove and drove, but no end in sight. Just a graveyard road and my high beam lights. It was a dead-end street that never had an end. Time went by and night became my friend. Night became my friend. Just me in the dark. I might feel lonely, but now it's in my heart. It controls my flesh. It penetrates my mind. It takes over my soul. Sends shivers up my spine. Every one of us has a secret side. What lurks behind the mask we really hide. As you live in the darkness, your eyes will adjust. What you think is light is now a speck of dust. Night became my friend. Just me in the dark. feel lonely, but now it's in my heart. It controls my flesh, it penetrates my mind, it takes over my soul, sends shivers up my spine. The darker side can be a tainted friend that steals my soul right before the end. That became my friend, just me in the dark. I might feel lonely, but now it's in my heart. It controls my flesh, it penetrates my mind, it takes over my soul, sends shivers up my spine.